SAP started way back in 2000. They developed a tool called Message Broker. Okay, that tool was kind of, pardon me, that tool was kind of created. Means initially SAP did not had their integration tool. They had a joint venture with Web Methods, if you have heard of
Yes.
Web Methods, and they created the tool called Business Connector in 1996, and that venture went till lasted only 4 years. SAP went in ahead and created their own middleware tool called SAP Message Broker, or the later name SAP XI, Infrastructure Exchange, XI. Okay, so it started from there, and then from XI to PI, PI to PO. PO is now a bulk of, it's a combination of three: PI, business, BPM, and BRM. Okay, BPM and BRM are rarely used in the market. Mainly, it's PI which is used for the real-time integration. But let's cut down to chase and just start with the little bit background about what is NetWeaver. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, whenever we talk about SAP PI, it comes in a package of SAP NetWeaver. What exactly it's NetWeaver and how is it related to? So uh, first of all, whenever we go to SAP, they give us a package called NetWeaver, but there is a common confusion between in the consultants that what exactly is NetWeaver. So NetWeaver is not a coding language. It is not in programming language. It's not an application. It's not an API library. It's not a database or not an server. It is a package, or it's a collection of different softwares. Okay, so it's not only about uh, PIPO, or let's say mobile integration or something. It is a complete package which is provided by SAP. Okay, whenever you go for an even a single PI, you will be given a network access. Okay, with that you will be provided with an uh, uh, coding language or coding layer, which is mainly on ABAP, as well as supports on Java. It supports a life cycle management. It has its own identity management, or your administration for user credentials and users access and user roles. Okay, it gives you an developing tool. Okay, one of this means when you talk about a network platform, it is kind of divided into four parts. Okay, so first is your information. Okay, so when you talk about the last layer of your um, uh, netware, again, the lowest layer is your coding language. Again, I'm excluding that coding language because that is not we will be doing, or that is not a customer or an end user would be dealing with. Okay, the lowest layer is Java as well as ABAP, which we are not concentrating into. Then comes your master data management. Master data management is the layer where your master data of a company uh, is kind of saved or kind of migrated from one system to another system, or there is a place where we are saving all the master data of a particular company. Now, what exactly is master data? You are aware of it, correct? You are aware of the basic functionality of ERP. What exactly are ERPs, and how where exactly we use an ERP, Michael?
Well, I know it means enterprise resource planning. So I'd imagine I haven't got a complete definition, but I'm guessing it would all be to do with asset tracking and processing. Um, but apart from that, it's then sort of scaled to each business having their own different types of products and assets and things. That's what I would understand it as.
Yeah, so whenever we talk about ERP, you can just think of it as a huge organization which is controlled by a single software or single application. So if let's say it's a manufacturing company, then that is divided in any traditional manufacturing company or any company. A company is divided into four major pillars, or I would say five. So first is FI, correct? The finance department,
Oh, right.
the
Yes.
HR department, okay,
Yeah.
the production planning,
Okay.
correct,
Yeah.
and your material management. Okay, these are the four one, and the fifth one is sales department. Okay, so this five pillars, any company, I would say, not only any company, any manufacturing company or any big company has this four pillars required to function. Okay, and these four pillars always are tightly coupled with each other. So tightly coupled as in, so if you have to create a car, let's say your end product is a car, so first you need a material. You manage your production planning. For production planning you need material, so that is done by a material management. For that material you need to have, means for that material to be created as a car, you need resources. So for that you have HR who is dealing with to to manage all the resources as well as all your uh, uh, material, your production. You need money. So for that money you are dependent on finance. And if even if you have created a final product, and if you haven't sold that a single unit of it, it is waste of time for a company. So you need a sales department. Okay, so all this are tightly coupled. If you don't sell, you don't get money. If you don't get money, you don't have resources or material, and if you don't have that, you won't be able to create a product. So all
Mhm.
are interconnected, correct?
Yeah. 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 That makes sense.
Yeah. Now this is an ERP. This is done via your ERP tool. Okay.
Hmm.
Now when we talk about the, means I have a document which can help you out for the ERP. I can send you after this call. I can share it with Indu or Priya. They can send it to you guys. You okay? But
That'd be good. Yes, that would be handy.
yeah, what exactly ERP is and how is your SAP comes into picture. Again, I am not going in depth with that because yeah, we might get pushed in different direction from our topic. But yeah, that is the simplest example I could have given. Okay. um, so your company's your master data would always be your products which you are selling, your items which you purchase, and your companies which you are dealing with. Those are all master data. Okay, so that
Mhm.
master data information, you are keeping it somewhere because that does not change. Their quantity might change, but that value, that information might not change. So let's say if I am an uh, 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 let's say an Apple. So for Apple, my iPhone will not change, but the value, how much I sold those Apple iPhone product I have sold, those values will change. So my master data for an Apple company is MacBook or your iPhone. Okay,
Mhm.
and from where I'm purchasing the uh, displays, where I'm purchasing my components, different components, those would be master data. So that is done via your master data management tool. Okay, that is one of the tool which is coming in the box for NetWeaver. Okay, the
Okay.
next would be process. Okay, now what is process? Process is when we are connecting two systems for the sake of data exchange. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's say uh, it might be not an hypothetical situation, but just imagine Apple purchase its iPhone screen from Samsung. Okay,
Mhm.
that is a real-time scenario. Okay, so yeah, that is that is a real-time scenario. So Apple purchase displays from Samsung. whenever Apple requires a, a display, it orders that to Samsung. To make this whole process, means this whole process complete, a Apple person would raise a request, order request. He will send it to Samsung manually or via mail. Samsung will give a response that they have it or not, and that response would come back to where? Apple. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I want to make it automatic. Let's say I want to make an automatic scenario, complete automatic, where let me share complete screen would be better. I, yeah. Yeah. So you can see my notepad, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Apple sending sales order to Samsung. Okay. Now here, this is all complete manual process where from Apple, some of the guys would be mailing it to Samsung. They will be checking in their system manually, and then we get a response back to Apple. But let's say I want to make it an automatic. So as soon as there is a shortage in Apple, what we can say, inventory or their warehouse, there is shortage of Samsung displays or displays in general. So as soon as there is a shortage, there would be system automatically generating a sales order. Okay, what is exactly a sales order? Sorry,
Um,
purchase order. Sorry, purchase order.
yeah. It's basically when someone's going to buy the Apple product, you haven't got enough screens and you're going to order them from Samsung.
Yeah. So my when as soon as my Apple screen are less than what is the desired quantity, or they are in scarcity of screen, they will
Yeah.
raise an purchase order. What we call it, purchase order, PO. Okay,
Yes.
purchase order in their system. That PO should be sent to where? Samsung system. Okay,
Samsung. Yeah.
Samsung ERP. Again, this is something your Apple ERP. In Apple ERP, automatically a purchase order was created. Okay, my
Mm-hmm.
interconnection is not stable. Okay, anyway, um, now this should go where? To Samsung as a sales order.
Yes.
Correct. Once purchase order is others sales order. My Apple's purchase order would be Samsung sales order because Samsung is selling that. Okay,
Yep.
correct.
Yep.
Now this automation process, this would involve Apple would be on, let's say, Oracle ERP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Samsung is on SAP ERP. Okay. Now there is a conflict between the two because something which Oracle understand, our SAP does not understand, or we can say the standard between the two system are not same. So you might call it as material in Oracle. That is called as something the input material in SAP. So there would be a mismatch, and the language which Apple sends the data in to does not is not understandable by your Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
So here there would be a middleware coming into picture. Now, what exactly middleware is? I'm not talking about only PI. I'm not very specific to PI. It is a generic tool. Middleware, as the name suggests, you have one is software, other is hardware, then you have middlewares. Okay, so middleware is a kind of the field which resides between the applications or which resides between the software. Okay, so let me explain to you a middleware in a definition. So middleware is a software that connects software component or enterprise applications. Okay,
Yeah.
this takes the data from sender, converts the data to the format which is understandable by the receiver.
Yeah.
Okay, and vice versa, take the response from an receiver and sends back that to your sender system. Understood?
Yep. Yep.
Let's take a very basic example, the real-time example which you use every day. So you open your browser every day. What do? You write, let's say, google.com. Okay, you write www.google.com, but we are not aware, or we are, I guess you might be, or you've thought of, but in general we are not aware what is happening in the background of this browser. This browser takes your request. What was your request? To show you the Google page. Okay, so takes that request, the www.google.com, it converts that request to XML format. Okay, what exactly XML are you aware of?
Yes, extendable markup language.
Yeah, so have you used the XSDs and XMLs and WSDLs?
I've used them a couple of times. I wouldn't say extensively, but most of the time the tools themselves have a tendency to do most of what you need in the background. You know, you might define the fields,
Yes,
but in the
but
background, you
yeah,
know.
but in PI,
hmm
you will be working with XMLs only.
hmm
So I would say before the next session, just write it somewhere if you have a notepad open of it. Just get a read on XML XSDs. Okay, what are XMLs and what are XSDs? Just a 15-minute read, Michael, not more than that.
Right.
Not more
Okay.
than 15. Yeah, not more than 15 minutes. You need to read about XMLs and XSDs, then that is enough. Okay.
hmm
Yeah. So again, I'm coming back to my example. So as soon as I click www.google.com and I clicked on enter, it converted my request to an XML format. Okay.
hmm
And it sent that data to where? Google server.
hmm
Okay. Now that Google server, which understood that XML format, responded back to our browser in which format? Again in XML, which was inscribed or which contained an HTML page. Okay. If that XML would have been shown directly to us, we wouldn't have understand what Google really wanted to say. So what my browser or any browser does is it takes or extract out that HTML page from that response, okay, and converts that HTML page to a beautiful this UI which is shown in front of you. Okay,
hmm
so what is your browser in this case?
I'm using Chrome.
No. So if you are using Chrome, what browser is acting like? Browser is acting like a middleware.
Oh,
It is
right. Sorry.
taking the
Yes.
correct, correct.
Yes.
It is taking the data
Yeah.
from me. It is taking the request from me. It
hmm
is converting in the format which Google server can understand. Okay,
hmm Yeah.
and it gives back a response. The Google server which we got the response from Google server, it's convert back to a format which I can understand.
hmm
Okay, so this is a real-time middleware, correct?
Yeah.
This is this whole thing you will be dealing in PI throughout the things, because if in real-time scenario the customer is not aware what is happening in the background. If you have clicked on, let's say I want some Samsung screens, Customer is not aware of that my application converted that to an XML, send that to over PI and send that to Samsung system, and there is a sales order raised. No, in background they would not be aware of what is happening. They will be just seeing that okay, as soon as we raise the request, it is showing at the receiver end, or we are getting a response out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this would be the same scenario all the time. Okay. In the, let's say if you are raising an IDOC also, let's say if you are raising a sales order or purchase order in your ECC, your IDOC would be raised. It would be interfaced to through your PI. It will go to your receiver system. If we are expecting a response from the receiver system, then be it or else, it would be end of our data transfer. Got it? Yes. So now we know a very basic knowledge of what exactly a middleware is. Okay. But all the middlewares are based on service-oriented architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Ever heard of it? SOA?
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's isn't it the fact where you've got? I mean, I might be wrong here, but where you've actually got a service listening and waiting for a request, and then it responds with, you know, depending on what's been coded, a return message.
Correct. Totally correct, sir. So two applications of a network system or an hardware or software, when they're connected, those are generally on the service-oriented architecture, and there is a huge architecture based on what and software is created. I'm just giving a brief introduction about what exactly an SOA is. So SOA is a collection of services, just like your browser. Browser is not only specific to one language. It supports PHP, it supports HTML5, it supports UI5. Okay, so it's a collection of services. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I'm referencing it with a browser. It enables communication between services. So one of the service is us and the other service is google.com, okay, or Google server.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and those are loosely coupled. I will explain that in a bit. Just wait a minute. Okay, those are loosely coupled. Okay, why exactly SOA? So it is due to increased, again it's a no-brainer, increased and enhancement of business capabilities. So now we have an understanding of this diagram where I am a service consumer in reference to my browser. I am a service consumer, correct? I want to consume a service, okay? And Google server is a service provider. So let's say if I search ABCD here, I want information from Google server regarding this ABCD, okay? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a consumer. It converted that request, sent that to Google server. Google server gave us a response, and it is shown in front of you by the browser conversion. Okay, so that is service oriented architecture, request response. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
Now there was something called loosely coupled. Okay, now what exactly loosely coupled is? Loosely coupled is that if, let's say, the codependency of two systems are very low, or you can say the codependency those the two systems are loosely coupled with very less codependency. Now what exactly loosely coupled and codependency means? So let's say if I don't have internet, or let's say if Google server is down, that does not mean my laptop or my PC will stop working. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It will still continue to work as it's expected. Okay. And vice versa scenario also, if my laptop is not working, that does not stop Google server to work. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which means both can exist independently in the universe, but just for the sake of data exchange, both are connected via an service oriented architecture based application. Understood? Or do
Yeah.
you want me to
Okay.
reiterate? Okay, so means loosely coupled is both are not completely dependent, loosely coupled just for the sake of message data transfer. Both the systems are connected. Okay, got it?
Yep.
So that is one thing. Then comes the stateless and stateful. Rather than stateless and stateful, this will be explained when we will be going into our real-time scenario. Are you aware of synchronous and async type of communication?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I do that quite often.
Yeah. So again, a real-time example would be when you are taking your cell phone and you are calling somebody, some XYZ number. To complete a real-time connection, there are some prerequisite. Your cell phone should be in network. The person whom you are calling to should be in network. Both should be in active condition. Both should be having some recharge onto their SIM to receive and send calls. These were the prerequisite to have a complete synchronous call. So this is a synchronous data transfer. Got it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you text somebody or you do an SMS, that does not require the other person to be in network.
Yep.
Correct? Even if his mobile is out of network or his cell phone is out of network, your SMS will still be delivered once he comes back to network. So that is an async type of communication. Got it? The difference sync
Yes.
and async.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there are times where you will be doing this synchronous type of communication, or you will be doing the mm, async type of communication. But by default, when you are talking about IDOC based communication, those are always async. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an async type of communication. And then you have the proxies. If you have ever heard of proxies or web service, those are kind of a synchronous type of communication.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, got it. So now we have a little bit understanding of what exactly are middlewares, correct?
Yes.
And what is SOA architecture, what is synchronous and asynchronous type of communication, all these things you are aware of it. Okay, now we have just scratched the surface of what we will be learning. Okay, just not even surface scratched, we just started yet. Okay, so I told you that SAP started way back in 1999 1996 for the web methods collaboration with SAP to have a tool called Business Connector. Okay, so oh, 1 second, great. My hyperlink not working. Sorry. Okay, so Business Connector, again, it was based on .NET platform to send and receive data from ECC to web services. Okay, then they went for Exchange infrastructure, or the initial name message broker. Okay, that was till they found out that SAP ABAP, and it means your Exchange infrastructure or SAP 7 point till 7.3, you had the single dual stack option. Now, what exactly dual stack means? Any idea what exactly dual stack is with
Uh,
PO?
well, in this context, I'm not sure if it means it had to have both or it could use both. As
Uh,
it used to use ABAP and Java, didn't it? So I
yeah.
don't know if you had to use one or the other, or you could use one or the other.
No, 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 no. The thing is with dual stack, you have to use both.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So you have the ABAP stack as well as you have the Java stack, and we will be seeing the architecture of both when just a 10 minutes after, I will be showing you the architecture of ABAP stack as well as Java stack. And with the introduction of 7.31, SAP went with single stack.
Okay.
So what exactly single stack is? You have only Java stack available. When I talk about stack is nothing but your platform on which that tool has been developed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your till 7.3, you need to have, I mean, your application PI was developed on uh, uh, with collaboration of Java stack as well as ABAP stack. But with 7.31, they removed ABAP stack and they had Java stack option. But still, at till 7.4, SAP gave the option of dual stack installation of that product. Okay, till 7.4. But with 7.5 PO, SAP removed altogether single stack option and completely went through for Java stack application. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. One second. Yeah. Um, okay. So this is just a brief introduction about your PIPO. Regarding your middlewares. Okay. Any questions till yet? Anything?
No, everything's quite good so far. I'm following you.
Yeah. Okay. Great. 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 Now let's go to the overview of your PIPO. Okay. Oh, no, not this one. Yes. Uh, so with uh, with introduction to with the XIPI or the simple SAP middleware tool, this tool was based on XML protocol or XML messages. Now, again, I told you XML messages are nothing but tags which contain messages in between. Again, you can read it over W3C, W3 school regarding the XML overview. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So your SAP PI deals in XML. Now, if you say it deals in only XML, what about the source data which is not in XML? So let's say you have a CSV file, you have a database file, or you have Excel file, or whatever text file. What about that data? So the thing with SAP is it converts the data which it received directly to XML. Now, what exactly that means? So let's say my PI system just received a data in a text format, or the requirement would be if I am taking the data from the receiver system from, let's say, XYZ system. Okay, for that my PI system would convert the message, whatever the message it received from the sender system, to an XML format. Got it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So first task of PI would be converting uh, the request which you are received from the source side should be converted to
XML.
XML format.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, once that XML format is reached, you will be doing some mappings. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why exactly we require a mapping? Any idea?
Well, two things. First of all, the input and the output may be different, the source and the destination. Also, you may have to do some transformations. So you need to convert everything into the same message type, which in this case is XML.
So, but why exactly we are not achieving this whole thing via your PI? Okay. means as if, let's say, if I have a company where you have 10 developers who are creating some data, okay, um, so or data or something in XML. So if that needs to be sent to our PI, how do we not how your adapters? There is a terminology called adapters,
Hmm.
which picks up the data and converts that to
XML.
XML. Correct. So you must have heard of different kinds of adapters available in PI. Some of them are kind of your IDOC adapter. You have XI adapter. You have CSV adapter or file adapter. You have HTTP adapter, SOAP adapter, REST adapter, OData adapter, and so on and so forth. But these are the out of the box adapters available with the product. Okay, there is an also option for you if you want to create your own adapter from scratch. Okay, but in
Okay.
that case you need to write it the code in your Java coding. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then deploy that to your HCI no, server. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But in general, we have the standard adapters available or provided by SAP, which which solve our purpose to send and receive data in 99% of the case. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. I'm coming back. Sorry for that.
That's
So,
okay.
so what do we understand till yet? Our PI system works in XML. But for the data which is not in XML, first task for PI would be converted that non-XML data to XML format. Okay.
Yep.
Whenever we, let's say we are getting an CSV file, let's say we are getting some text file or something around. So first thing would be, let's say we are getting in mail format or anything. So our first task would be, or PI first task would be to pick up the file and convert that to an XML format. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing would be transformation. Okay. Transformation as in the data which is coming to you via PI, via the third party, um, that needs to be transformed in your PI system via mapping. Okay.
Yep.
So that is called transformation. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now business delivery process and okay, that is all waste of time. Now this was a kind of real-time complex scenarios earlier when your middleware did not existed. Again, you can see the trading system connected to procurement, your ERP system connected to your R3 system, sales is connected to technical system and so forth. And this is complete chaotic scenario
Mm-hmm.
where you are doing one-to-one
Yep.
connection setting, correct?
Yep. Yep.
But let's say we want to have an unified and sophisticated tool which can be placed in between and that connects to all the systems in the landscape for sending and receiving. So this reduces your efforts. Everything means it reduces efforts. It gives you a single place where you can do monitoring and all sorts of stuff with the middleware. So how it does it look? So it looks something like this where your one-to-one configuration is there, not there, but rather all the systems are connected to single PI and that single PI is connected to receiver system. So in this with this you have an efficient way of development, not to be developing a tool specifically for one landscape or one business, but rather create a tool which we can buy uh, uh, from which we can buy and we can use it. Okay, so this is where your PI resides. It is just connected with all the other applications present in the landscape. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. So now again with this diagram, I just wanted to give you a little bit brief introduction of what exactly there would be different layer in your uh, uh, not only integration but in ERP perspective. Okay, so let's say you have people integration at the top. Okay, information management, which would be done if you have a project, you will be maintaining all the information which you are receiving from sender side or receiver side. So that is an information integration. The process integration is something where you will be picking up a bulk of data from sender side and pushing it to your mouth. Sorry, via your this thing. Okay. Uh, your business. Okay, one second. Now you have this SAP XI integration technology platform. So your SAP XI, it integrate SAP and non-SAP applications. It integrate A2 and B2B scenarios. It integrate uh, uh, synchronous and asynchronous communication. It integrates business process management. Okay. Now, what exactly business process management? Are you aware of BPMs?
No.
Okay. Anyway, just let's take a simple example. BPM is when you have a business processes involved. Now, business processes are kind of very specific to a company or an organization. So let's say I am a company where I am selling my, let's say, same Apple products. Okay. So there is a business process that till my sales order is not approved by my manager, it should not go to the it should not raise a sales order. So let's say if I have raised a sales order in my system, it should go to approval to my manager. If he approves, then only it should go for delivery or next process. So delivery and then packing and all those things. And
Right.
if it is not approved, it should end then and there itself. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
So with this business process management, they have given an option to do that stuff, to create the wait logic, to give an approval logic. All those things would be done via BPM. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The complex business logic, which is not directly achievable via interfaces. Okay. So those are called BPMs. Okay. Then you have BRMs. Okay. BPM and BRM. But this BPM and BRM, those are rarely used. If you ask me for personal, I have done almost 14 projects on PIPO and I have used BPMs only once. Okay.
Okay.
BPMs and BRMs, I have never used it, but they have given the option. You can at least leverage those if required. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Oh, one second. So, what are the shared business information? So, let's say integration scenario. What all things are available in the package? So, you have the integration scenario, business process, web service, mapping, routing rules. All those things comes out of the box with your with your PI. You have common understanding of collaborate business. You require very less business process knowledge. Rather than this, you just require the technical knowledge. Okay, you can uh, classify your data dictionary based on their requests, like the discovery and the integration. Okay, your XMLs are loosely coupled. again the same word which I told you earlier, those are loosely coupled. Okay, and even evolution is something, it is on the verge for PIPO, because we are kind of at the position where you can say that SAP PI and PO are kind of uh, on the downfall for their development. You are not getting as much uh, return from PIPO as it was earlier. Now you might say why. So the reason is SAP has developed their own integration tool called SAP HCI or CPI. Heard of it?
No.
Okay, so there is another tool. Okay, you again just read about it. There is another tool called SAP CPI. SAP CPI. Okay, just this thing. Now they have created this tool basically for the cloud integration. Okay. Now what exactly cloud integration? You are aware of cloud integration, correct? So cloud application can be your success factor, or can be your salesforce.com, or can be third party system which provides its implication or services on cloud. Okay, for
Okay.
that SAP has given one more tool called SAP HCI, HANA Cloud Integration or Cloud Platform Integration. Both are same. Okay,
Okay.
got it. So yeah, uh, with SAP HCI or with SAP PI, you are given a platform to connect with third party system or your ECC system, take the data from ECC and provide it to your third party application provider. It can be Oracle, it can be whichever system you want to connect, you can do it, and you get a response not immediately but at the later stages. Okay,
Uh-huh.
you have loosely coupled via XML message. So loosely coupled, as I explained, you are not sending and receiving the data at real time. Okay, what does the real time means? Real time as in uh, uh, sync means as soon as you send a request, you are getting a response. That is a real time integration. And non real time as in if you have sent an data and it is received after 10 minutes or 15 minutes at the receiver end. So that is a non-async or async type of communication where you are not waiting for a receiver system to be in network, but rather the data would be posted to your receiver system at any case cost. So that is something called the collection of services. You have the uh, uh, let's say real time as in you have collection of services uh, which can be kind of the SOAP services or IDOC services and all those things. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
understood the cloud solutions, the HCI. Little bit I have just given a very small introduction of HCI, but you understood now the HCI is residing on cloud, and the same tool we have it on premises called PIPO. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So again, yeah, this architecture I will explain this uh, after our next session. Before in our next session, I don't want to push it forward right now to you. Whatever we have connected, but what I will ask from you is, Michael,
Mm-hmm.
to read good about XML.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
do read about XSDs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what exactly XSDs are and XMLs are, because we will be using extensively XMLs and XSDs for this training. Okay,
Yep.
and not only this training, it would be used all the time when you are dealing with the HCI tool. Sorry, this is XI tool, XI or
Right.
PI.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yep.
do read about the this one. Okay. Now, rather than let's say just give me for 5-10 minutes more. Okay, just 5-10 minutes. I won't take more than that. Your PIPO or your SAP PI is divided into 4 parts. If you can write it somewhere, it would be best.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing is SLD,
Yeah.
lowest layer, which you can see in front of my screen, the lowest layer, it's an SLD. What
Mm-hmm.
exactly is SLD is? SLD saves the information for all the system present in your SAP landscape. Again, I know it's a long statement, but let me explain to you what I'm trying to say. So if you are if your system, if your landscape content ERP, it contain EWM, WM, TM, SRM, and so on and so forth. So this all system wants to send data to each other via PIPO. So how does my PI knows that this is my landscape and I can manage data through them? How do we do that? So what SAP has done is SAP has uh, added all the information for all the landscape or all the system at one location called system landscape directory. Understood?
Yep. Yep.
So SLD keeps all the information of all the systems present in your landscape. Okay, that is an SLD for you. Then you have the ESR. ESR is the process where you will be developing an interface. Okay, ESR or integration repository. Again, both are same thing. Okay, integration repository or ESR, enterprise service repository. Both are same thing. Here in IR, you uh, uh, create interface or create the structure of your sender side, and also what we can say, create the mapping for source and receiver structure. Okay, that is called ESR. Then you have the ID, integration directory. That is the place where you do the configuration of sender and receiver. What exactly configuration of sender and receiver? Which means the sender system, from which system we need to pick up the data, to which system we need to place the data, and in which format. Everything is saved under the integration content. Okay, and the third category is your monitoring. Okay, so you have uh, monitoring of message is required for your SAP PI. So that is done via your central monitoring console of your PI. Correct? Got it, sir? Till yet? Hello? I'm
Yeah.
taking.
Sorry, I was writing it down.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, no. So we divided the SLD, integration directory, integration repository, and monitoring. These are the 4 things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
got it. Now I will explain to you in next session each one component by component,
Mm-hmm.
how we will proceeding, and how the what we can say, what is the architecture of your PIPO, and all those things we'll be understanding in next phase. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.